This is a lot of effort to taste plants.
This is really a journey of the impossible.
Today we are taste testing burgers made from plants.
Beyond and impossible. It's crazy that this looks like meat. If you didn't see the made from plants on here, I would have picked it up as if it was regular ground beef.
Do you traditionally eat burgers?
I've gotten In-N-Out almost every night for like years.
Beyond and Impossible are plant-based beefs.
They still consider it a meat. It's just not an animal-based meat. It's a plant-based meat, which is a little bit of a weird concept to wrap your mind around, but that's their guiding philosophy.
Are these healthier? Are these better? Are they the same as a traditional beef product?
All right, today we're making some sliders. One is real beef. The other two are imitation beef. So we have Beyond Beef and the Impossible. So we're gonna cook these up, see how they taste, see if the imitation patties actually stand up and taste like the real thing.
They are supposed to taste as close as they can to actual beef.
Beyond Meat is the one you can find at most grocery stores. It's available pretty much nationwide.
All right, so for our sliders, we're gonna make them 2 ounces each. Definitely a unique texture, just feeling it. We're gonna cook them for about 3 minutes on each side. Then we're gonna be looking for an internal temperature of 160 degrees, which is about medium.
The mission is similar for both Beyond and Impossible. They both want to make a product for traditional meat eaters, people already buying ground beef, but their product, they're saying, is more sustainable, better for the environment than raising and processing meat from traditional animals.
So the interesting thing with this meat is that it's already brown. Typically you are looking for like a redness to go away with typical beef. Beyond Meat burgers, ready to go.
First up,
Beyond Burgers.
I cooked the previous batch of these and they look exactly how I remember. This honestly has the consistency of Play-Doh.
this does not look like regular burger meat. It is,
You can tell it is not beef.
The texture is very strange.
let's give it a taste. It really has a meaty texture, and it kind of has a beefy aftertaste while you're eating it. It doesn't really taste like beef to me.
Definitely does not taste like a traditional beef patty, that is for sure.
That's certain.
It tastes better than it looks.
It tastes way better than it looks.
Very interesting texture we got going on here.
It's a very rubbery consistency.
Especially like sausage, you know how it has that like chunks, like the gristly?
It does taste like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is like.
Very
Yeah,
chewy.
it is very chewy at the end.
I feel like the more I eat, the less offended I am. But the initial bite just threw me for a loop.
If you like haven't eaten meat in like a couple of years, you'd be like, oh, this is bad.
The only thing it's lacking is flavor, but I feel like that could be compensated for with some extra salt and pepper, do some spices.
It's also kind of odorless as well.
Tell you what, I'm pretty much eating the whole thing, and I'm going to eat the whole thing, because it's not bad.
Maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but this is the first meat substitute I've ever had. And we're also both largely eat meat in our diet, so.
The only thing off-putting, I would say, is how it looks.
Kind of looks like it's solidified. Doesn't look like a typical beef patty, that's for sure.
Just don't look at it before you eat it. Close your eyes.
The flavor of the Beyond Meat is pretty neutral, so I think it really would apply to any scenario where you'd use regular beef. Just substitute it if you'd like.
Right now, the Impossible meat is only available at certain grocery stores, so we had to take a little road trip.
The closest place is Palm Springs to us, so it's a little bit hard to find, but we're on our way to get our hands on it.
Of course, gotta have my road trip fuel.
How many bathroom stops are we gonna make with that thing? How many bathroom stops are we gonna make with that thing?
So the Impossible meat, the Beyond meat, it all seems like it's trying to attract meat eaters to eat something plant-based.
If we pass by any fast food places that carry fast food versions, we may have to try that.
We should hit up a Burger King.
May I take your order, please?
Can I get 2 Impossible Whoppers and 2 regular Whoppers?
I'll be out the window.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Smooth, handled that like a pro.
I've been practicing.
Who invented the double window system? You pay at this window, you pick up at the next window. It makes it more efficient.
Yeah, and then everyone backed out of that deal. Well, we don't want the 2 windows.
Yeah.
Shut down that first window.
Thank you.
Don't kid yourself though, this isn't healthy. Just because it's the Impossible Whopper doesn't mean it's better for you.
That looks pretty meaty. That looks pretty beefy. I have to say I like it.
I liked it. I'm not a traditional burger eater, but if given the 2 options, I may lean towards the Impossible.
There's definitely a flavor there that reminds me of the Boca patties that isn't quite meat, but if I wasn't looking for it, I might not know it. If someone had just handed me the Impossible Whopper not knowing, I probably wouldn't know the difference. Del Taco has a Beyond Meat taco that I knew we had to try.
It already doesn't look quite like meat. Looks a little gelatinous. It just tastes like ground up beans, like kind of like refried beans.
It's a beef substitute, but really, this was a huge letdown. That doesn't taste like beef at all. You can see it's even like pastier. It's more of a liquid.
Combined with the texture and the whole experience overall, I just really wasn't into that Beyond Taco.
After 4 hours on the road, we finally reached our destination.
We are here, and we have a sign out front that says "Find Impossible Inside," so not so impossible now. They've got both. It looks like beef. It's even like bloody like beef. Holy moly, there's a ton of ingredients.
They're doing things to imitate meat in a lab that then when you look at the ingredients, it sounds really chemical based, but they're kind of have to do that in order to achieve the effect they're going after.
Impossible is inherently a genetically modified food. The heme, the blood-like substance in it, is derived from genetically modifying yeast and a soy protein found in the roots of soy plants. So this one inherently is a GMO, but they're saying it's done in a safe way.
They are trying so hard for this to look like real meat, and it really does. If you didn't see the made from plants on here, I would have picked it up as if it was regular ground beef. This is grass-fed beef. This is the Impossible. I mean, the raw stuff is pretty close. I do feel like we kind of pulled off a heist.
We got the goods in our cooler bag.
Headed back so we can get cooking and get tasting.
That was a long drive for 5 minutes in a grocery store.
All right, now these actually look like beef patties. See, this one you still have like the redness in there, which gives it that meat look.
This looks like the real deal.
It smells pretty meaty.
Definitely looks more meaty. This tastes better than Beyond.
That is worse.
No, it tastes better.
This looks like the real deal, but I think I prefer the flavor of the Beyond.
I'm really not a fan of the flavor on its own.
It tastes like meat, but like a meat that I've never had. It tastes like an animal that they haven't discovered yet. Like alien meat or something.
On its own, with just the patty and the bun, it stands out as being a little...
It has the texture of meat, but it's definitely not the flavor of meat.
I like the softer, mushier texture. The Beyond was just way too chewy for me.
For me, dude, that Impossible was like...
Was it too much? It had a lot of flavor to it, and it was trying really hard to be beef.
As a control for our taste test, we're also going to try 100% grass-fed beef.
I'm gonna be really surprised if they like the Beyond Beef or Impossible more than actually.
All right, these are the real McCoy. These are the
Thank goodness.
pure 100% ground beef.
That's a burger. That's a slider.
Tastes like a good slider.
Oh, come on, man.
You know one thing? The juiciness.
Oh, man.
No, it's like the one ingredient. It's just the beef. Smash that burger.
Looking at the ground beef, that it looks a little bit closer to the Impossible than the Beyond.
The other two come close, but they're not quite this accurate.
For me, it was night and day, but I don't know, maybe that's because I'm someone that eats meat all the time.
What's interesting for me is I don't eat a lot of red meat, and I kind of prefer the flavor of Beyond or maybe Impossible.
So we're gonna give it to somebody who's not gonna be participating, just so we know that I cooked it correctly. That's the Impossible meat.
Wow,
Is that a good wow or a bad wow?
that's amazing, dude. I'm actually like seriously impressed. I think if I didn't know, I might have just eaten that as a regular burger.
Both of them get a lot of things right, but I think both of them get a few things wrong.
Take the flavor from Beyond and pair it with the look and feel of Impossible. That would be the most beef-like experience. They might be plant-based, but that doesn't mean they're better for you. It's not like it's a bunch of carrots and black beans and tomatoes and mushrooms chopped up into a ground paste. These are processed meats, they just happen to be plant-based.
Although these may be processed in a lab or a factory somewhere, they're still companies focused on creating something to help solve food-related problems in our world. Both Impossible and Beyond are raising some interesting questions about food health, safety, environmental impact, and our cultural norms.
And with this many choices on the market, I think it makes people make more intentional decisions about what they're buying.
Thank you for watching the video. Yeah, I feel so unnatural. If you're interested in how does it relate to a tower garden, plant-based. So if you're into plants, I hope you liked it. Yeah, okay. Use somebody else's tag. I can't do this.